I think Zach set the tone for us tonight. We built our day around him and his outing. I thought his command of all of his pitches was outstanding. He worked into the 7th inning through 106, 107 pitches. And for me, was in total command of his outing. And it was nice that he got a win. He fell behind 1-0, but we had some very, very timely clutch hitting. I think David Peralta's 3-2 home run was a really clutch moment for this ball club, and then things seemed to really pick up for us offensively from that point on.
Falling behind hasn't seemed to phase you this week.
Well, I think that's a key ingredient for a team that believes in themselves. It's a team that relies on one another and is ready to hand it off to the next guy. And that's something we've been preaching around here. That the person behind you is gonna be ready for the moment, and let's build some innings and score runs in bunches.
Torey, you started Zach up a little late in spring training.
Mm-hmm.
Back to him, his first start was a little behind. Is this the reason why you were trying to get him to a certain point, where he would be effective early?
No, not really. No. I think that the main reason was to allow him to build up at his pace, and he was giving us some of the recommendations to how he was feeling and what he was ready to do, and bits and pieces that started coming together. But we knew he'd be ready for his first start. We felt very strongly that things would be in order for him, and we didn't want to push him in an area that he didn't want to be pushed in. And I think all pitchers that have been around as long as he has deserve to give us the feedback, and we need to listen. And that's one of the things that I preached from the beginning, is what they think matters, and we listen to Zach. And you can see it was minimal concern at the time, and he prepared, and he's ready, and he threw a great ball game. It's his second start of the year, and he threw a great ball game.
Hazelmaker's a guy who puts in a lot of work behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
How is that preparation paying off right now at the plate?
Well, you can see, I think he set a franchise record, right? I'm not exactly very well read on it, but I know he set a franchise record, 8 straight times that he's gotten on base. That speaks volumes for anybody at any time. So you know that he's doing some things behind the scenes, whether it's studying video or going out and just making sure he's ready physically by warming up and getting some good reps in. But it's hard to be a role player. It's hard to be a bench player. It's a credit to him that he's staying prepped. It's a credit to the people around him that are helping him stay prepped. It's just one of those really good stories that you love to hear. And when it happens, you're pulling for guys like Jeremy because he works so hard. He's so dedicated.
Did David tweak his wrist?
We're all hypersensitive to certain movements with certain guys, and when David goes down and makes a great play and is slow to get up, we were a little bit concerned, but he came off the field and said he felt fine.
Have you been impressed by the offensive output of this team, or did you think they were capable of this?
Well, I thought from sitting across the dugout from them and watching them perform, some of the things that I read and just some of the impact players that they had, I thought that it was going to be a very capable offensive team. And stepping inside with these guys now, I can understand why, because they complement one another, they trust one another, they're engaged at a different level with one another from at bat to at bat. They're sharing information. So we felt comfortable knowing what the team had done last year as far as scoring runs, that we could duplicate something like that. Now, we got a long way to go to be able to say that we're going to do something like this club did offensively in 2016, but I have a very strong feeling that these guys are going to perform like this all year long.
Has anything surprised you about your team during this stretch?
No, I felt like I got to know them on a pretty good level from watching and paying attention to their work habits in spring training, the results they were getting, the freedom that they had to go out there and express themselves. And these guys are pretty impressive in a lot of different areas. And nothing is really surprising me. I knew quickly this is a pretty special group of guys.
How nice has it been to see Zach's stuff tick up a little bit from where it was in spring training?
Well, once again, I know that Zach is very self-aware, and that's one of his strengths. He knows what he's got to get to build up for the moment. I haven't seen any of the readings. I don't know how hard he was throwing today, but it just seemed like things were a little bit crisper today. And I know that it's part of the process for him. So it's good that we see all that. I don't think we were too concerned that it wouldn't be there, but it's nice that he was doing it all game long today and pitched in the 7th inning and won a ball game.
every player wants to bat with the bases loaded. Is there a discussion with Paul in the ninth inning? I know you obviously want to get other guys at bats, or is it?
Right. Well, that decision was made about 5 batters before. I said, if we get to Goldie's spot, we will have blown this game up a little bit and scored at least 7 or, in my head, it was 8 or 9 runs. I don't even know what the score was at the time. But I said, we'll get him off his feet and get Daniel in that bat. I understand how hard it is to be a role player, and I know that Daniel Descalso can get some great value out of that one moment. In Goldie's situation, I know that he's a team player. He stepped aside for his teammate to get some feel and a rhythm. I know he wanted to hit, and I know that his numbers will be there despite that at bat or not, and I just felt like it was the right thing for the team.
You took a little while to get to Bauer, which has been kind of a theme of the week.
Mm-hmm.
You guys go around the order a few times,
Mm-hmm.
then you get to the starting pitcher. Is it something you picked up on Bauer that you were able to get to him in the 6th inning?
You'll have to ask those guys in there what happened. I just know what happened kind of fundamentally. I'm not sure if they picked up on a release point or anything like that. But I just the discussions that's happening in between innings, the amount of information that's being shared is really impressive. And it's not to say that certain pitchers aren't going to get us and stay on us and take care of business, but I like our chances when we're seeing a guy for a second and third time. It's been our track record for the first 6 games, and I feel like these guys are competing on a pretty impressive level night after night.
Is that you and the coaches, or is that player to player sharing that information?
Well, I know Dave Magadan works very hard to get information, share with these guys, and then once the games start, their eyes are telling them their story, and they're sharing their firsthand vision with one another. So it starts out between Dave Magadan, Tim Laker, and the players, and then the players take it over once the game starts.
Thank you.
Yep.